listening to the Shite Talk podcast show. Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Talk podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's up?
On episode 187 of the Shite Talk podcast show, Ken.
Yeah.
Isn't that exciting?
That is absolutely ecstatic.
I will preference that there could possibly be some kind of building sounds, banging, ECT, in the background. There's a lot of work going on around here. I'm pretty much living on a halting site. Or, not a halting site. Building site. Two very, very different things.
Too happy with that, Mark.
If you hear anybody shouting, who wants to buy this dog, in a slightly country accent, just go with it. It's part of the ambience of the show, basically. That's what I'm saying.
It gives it character.
It gives it very character. I think we've got fucking really strange stories this weekend.
Don't we every week?
Yeah, well, we do. We kind of do have strange stories every week. And I think, yeah, it's probably a typical show, in fairness. I think today we have sensible, well-researched stories. Will be the strange week in stories.
That'll be just the day that we know that it's time to give up.
We start talking about the economic impact of the gas shortage around Europe.
Yeah, who wants to hear about that?
Nobody wants. What they do want to know is how a gorilla got a phone addiction.
That's what I want to know.
And that's what kind of stories we bring to our lovely listeners.
Every week
about a gorilla having a phone addiction. We never get off this story. This is now it. This is our fart jar for the rest of the year.
Yeah, this is it now.
Yeah, it's just going to be this story. We also have the big age-old question: which country has the world's largest penis?
And you'd be surprised.
And we will be surprised. And it's very interesting. The study is interesting. Everything about this is interesting. And for those people who are sitting out there and goes, with all the world's problems, is this really that important? And for them, I say yes. Yes, it is. Now, we'll be going back into detail. We'll have graphs. We might have a few extras come in to break down the data, to tell us the finer details of how our men can crawl up the list. Because this is a very important story.
A surprise just hasn't been reported nationally.
Well, there's probably a good reason of that. It might scare a lot of girls off to emigrate to different countries. It's not, to be honest with you, it's not great for us, Ken. It's not great. We don't go show not in the best light here. Let's just hope Irish people have great personalities, because either that or else we have nothing going for us.
Did we ever think we had that going for us?
Oh no, this is worse than the World Cup qualification, Ken. This is what went bad. Then Ireland trying to qualify for arguably the most popular sport in the game in the country. That's how bad this was went.
God damn it, Mark.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other references to use how bad this is.
Like Mayo's All-Ireland record.
Yes, exactly. This is worse than Mayo's All-Ireland record. This is worse than Jedward at Eurovision. This is
worse than Dustin the Turkey at the Eurovision.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you're getting a little bit older. We're both getting a little bit older. Let's be fair. We're both going in the same direction. And older you get, the less down to kids you are. The less these slangs pop up out of nowhere, and you have no idea. And then you realise you're nearly going to die. And for us old people, the FBI has a handy 83-page document to break down the internet slang, and thank God for the FBI, because if it wasn't for them, we will never know these terms, or the fact that young people today are using words such as comrade.
It's Conrad?
Yes. Apparently, it's a very popular saying, and they have abbreviation terms that include comrade in the abbreviation.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, exactly. This is the FBI. They know what they're doing, and that's why they're on the Idiots of the Week. We have a guy
You know what they're doing.
who is responsible for about 90% of the complaints to Irish Airport. He doesn't make our Idiots of the Week, surprisingly. If there's an asshole of a week, we couldn't.
Well, there's a new one.
Yeah, we couldn't possibly name him outright and call him an asshole of the week, but we could just suggest that the person who makes 91% of complaints, I say, block the person. Isn't that the easiest way? Then you could drop your complaints by 90% and tweet about it. Everyone is about celebration tweets.
Yeah, that is quite true. You could do that.
Yeah, exactly. He might complain that, hey, that's because you blocked me, you assholes. Just block that account and block the next one. And block his family too.
Keep blocking until you can't block no more.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let him in the airport. So you're banned. Go fuck off to wherever the next nearest airport is. Liverpool.
Yeah,
Swim there.
How's he going to get there?
I don't know. Should figure that out when you're an asshole. Yeah, so that's coming up in the show. We also have I think this might be the first ever Canadian Idiot of the Week.
Oh.
I can't really, off the top of my hand, I can't really think of too many other countries that haven't been on the Idiots of the Week. There's a few probably haven't been on it. It kind of centers around the typical 5.
Yeah, I think Canada's probably been done before.
All right. Well, that ruins that then.
Well, I can't think of anything that they would have been done for.
Yeah, in fairness, there's so many Idiots of the Week. We've passed through some. We could have accidentally just got a Canadian person mistaken with, someone else from the Americas, some other country. One that they don't like being compared to for some reason.
I wonder what country that could be.
Argentina. And then we also have a person who's been caught speeding is also made our Idiots Week. And they're kind of our Idiots Week because of the excuse they make. I didn't do any research into this, and Ken says I should have, because if the outcome was positive, he possibly should be a Legend of the Week.
Yeah.
It's that thin line between being a legend and being an idiot.
It all depends on the outcome.
I always say there's a thin line between being a legend and an idiot. I, for one, never straddle that line. I'm just clearly an idiot. So it's never maybe or not, but this guy possibly could be.
Yeah, we need information, Mark. We need information.
I ran out of time, Ken. I did my best. I'm going to blame phone addiction for why I didn't get the research done.
Phone addiction?
Phone addiction. I was on my phone. I was looking at other videos. I should really go back to doing my research. And then I did a bit of research and I went back onto YouTube. I'll just watch another video here. I really need to know the difference between do it, and do've.
What?
I don't know. I started watching a video about Irish, and I was like I've learned all these words.
Okay. Yeah, now it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So they're all Irish words. And I've been doing Duolingo probably for 2 years now. Is it a year? It's probably been a year. It feels like 2. And I always thought do was your. Apparently it isn't.
Yeah, I gave up.
Yeah. I never give up. Ever. Ever. And hence we're on episode 137 of the podcast. With possibly only Russian bots and one bus driver listening.
and a load of kids. Load of kids,
actually, in fairness. And a few other people who I comment on a F1 post. Anytime I comment on posts, we always get a few more listeners.
And don't forget people like always insult that come back to.
Yeah, in fairness, I don't know if they've necessarily listened, but intend to listen and wants their right to reply. Which, by law, I probably should give them, but I'm not.
This is a dictatorship, not a democracy.
We don't follow laws by the BAI yet. So we'll get on to gorillas with phone addiction. And this is a teenage gorilla. So we've often heard of human teens being addicted to their phones or spend too much time on their phones. And certain fucking psychologists has said it's affecting everything from their development to depression to people are having less sex now into their 20s, and they are blaming basically the phone for everything that goes wrong with the young people. It's the phone seems to be the center of it.
It's the phone is causing all these problems.
And I, like, for years I always thought, do you know what, this is just because it's technology they don't fully understand and it's new, and they like every generation likes to criticize the new generation or generation coming up behind them. Like, they don't know what they did. Back in my day, we had respect for our elders. We did this, we did that, and we did it. And when in reality, where we were just very, very similar. They went to arcades, we had PlayStations. Big difference. But when I first actually seen this story, I thought it was a study that was done where they were showing gorillas like screens that give off blue light that have notifications and seeing if it induces the same response to apes as it does to humans. Because it's the whole kind of that little notification button, I think gives you something like endorphins. It's the same kind of sensation of slot machines use in terms of the sounds and the lights flashing that kind of give you kind of whatever that happy hormone is. What was it again? I
don't fucking know. Not a clue.
Yeah, that one.
That happy one.
But no, this is actually I guess, study or observation maybe by a zoologist came accidentally. And it's a 415-pound eastern lowland gorilla. And I think he's about 16 years old. He's in Chicago. This is happening in Lincoln Park Zoo. And he had grown fond of staring at people's smartphones. The fact that he failed to notice a rival mate run up behind him and jump him. So he's too much fixated on people's phones that one of the other males that he shares his pen with basically was able to jump up and attack him, and he had no clue that he was behind him. He's so fixated on the phone.
Like, how did this start?
Apparently, people who were going to the zoo were showing the gorilla videos of, like, were sticking their smartphones up and showing. I don't know what person does this. That goes to the zoo, hey gorilla, look at this video of what their gorilla or whatever, and you're showing it, and then the gorilla was like, hey, that's actually pretty interesting. These reels are actually really, really fun. And not noise music at all. This is, I'll sit here and watch these. And then, so he then started staring out of the enclosure when people are walking by or people are on their phone. And he was doing that thing that I think we all feel people doing to us, where they're just staring into your phone, watching what you're doing or watching what apps you're on, and just staring at your feet. I've said off air that I think there should be a name for this.
It has to just be like creeping or.
See, I always thought creeping is going on someone's profile and just like going through all their photos. That's I thought was creeping or stalking.
Yeah, that's also creeping. But like, you're being a creep if you're like looking over somebody's shoulder, reading their fucking phone.
Yeah, but basically that's what the gorilla was doing, and he was coming just too fixated on on other people's phones. So the zoo had to.
So he gave him his own phone.
Yeah, so basically said, "Here, have this." Well, he couldn't operate. He couldn't get past the lock mechanism of the phone, so he wouldn't be. If he had got the phone, he'd smash the screen pretty quickly. So they would have to either have like a TV for them and just have one of the fucking zoo people screen share their phone with the TV and just scroll for them. I guess would be the only way around that. But no, they didn't want the apes coming addicted to the phone, so they put up ropes around the enclosure to kind of break the view of the gorillas of staring out at people's phones, and this kind of distracted the apes to the point where your man was like didn't have any interest in staring out at other people's phones. So it kind of worked. Basically, they just kind of blocked the apes' view, so they forgot about people's phones and focused on like interacting with the other apes there, because they're in a pen with I think 3 other males. And he said around as a teenager for apes, it's a kind of important stage where they learn how to socialize with other mates and like different rules that like in terms of dominance and other things. And if what they feared, like if this ape was just staring at other people's phone, not observing, not interacting with other mates, he would be kind of outcasted from the group, and he wouldn't have learned these things that are essential for his development.
Much like human teenagers.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what I thought. I was like, this is actually like, this probably should be studied, where you give like apes phones, or like I said, put a TV screen and study. Do their behavior changes? Do they lose interest in mating? Do they lose interest in, because these are all the things that are being thrown at smartphones, whether or not they're true or not. But they said they did see his mood improve after they put up the ropes. He came less interested in staring, looking out at people's phones. He was actually then started to interact with the other apes.
Like that's yeah, I think that does happen with like fucking people.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. Like even even this morning, where I get up, I'd go on, like I'd have my breakfast and I'd maybe watch it, like a YouTube video here and there. But then there is times where I'm doing research for something, or I'm trying to concentrate on something, and I find myself flicking back over to YouTube or pointlessly going on to Instagram for no other reason other than I just have a short attention span.
Yeah, like your attention span's like what, 15 minutes?
Oh yeah, like if I get 15 minutes attention span, that's a solid attention span right there.
Then you have to turn off your TV program and come back to it another day.
Oh yeah, like I don't. Yeah, in terms of like actually watching the program, yeah, I can't get through stuff like that.
That's too much phone, Mark.
That's too well. It's not. It's like I go off and do other things.
No, Mark. No. It's too much phone.
There is times where I've been watching something and I have no clue what happened. I've been just too like I'd be like I'd have an app open. I'd be watching something and then I'd be messaging somebody else to the point where I was like, I don't know what I've been watching. Clearly, I have to watch this episode again or something. But like,
I hate when that happens and you're like, oh, I need to go back to the start of this.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think we did grow up with social media, but
I didn't really.
Yeah, but like for maybe like I downloaded Facebook in 2010, so I would have been 20 years old. I'd be 19, 20 when I downloaded Facebook. At that,
I think I got Facebook when I was like 24 or something.
Yeah, so you're kind of late to the party.
Yeah, like, and I had a MySpace years ago, but it was only because like I had a band and we didn't really do much with it because fuck that.
Yeah, but I think in terms of like that, like when we were younger, we had to go onto like a computer. We didn't have a Facebook app. That didn't come to maybe a little bit later when we were in college. So it kind of put up a blocker, and you had to always put in a code. Whereas now that it's on your phone, it's in your pocket, it's open any time. You just click it and it's open. So you had to go through like different processes in order to actually go on Facebook. It took effort to go on Facebook, whereas now it doesn't. And social media,
like people have gotten more or like less patient.
Yeah, but in terms of like you're more inclined to like go out, I think. And meet. See, I'm talking now as an older person where I don't know people in their teens if they go out and go call around their friends. They probably do hang around the streets just like we did. And this is just like we think, oh, they don't know how to communicate. I was talking to a guy. Go on.
The kids, I know the kids in my estate, right? They're always outside, but they're always just sitting on the ground on their phones.
Oh, so they are social. They are interacting.
Like they are outside with each other, but they're not like actually talking to each other. They're just sitting on their phones.
Yeah, because I know I was talking to one guy last week, and he said he has two sons. One doesn't leave his room. One did a graphics card because he's doing this thing, and he's super into computers, and the other one does like several sports and never's in the house. Can't time them. So I think there's maybe two types of people. And before, where I definitely people growing up who are like the hermit that lives in their room, and who either just plays guitar or the PlayStation, and they didn't interact with the internet because there wasn't really an internet reaction. They just played their PlayStation and played their guitar and never left their house. So I always think there are people like that anyway. Like there's always been people, through their teens, just like are sitting in their house all day, and there's always been kids who are super active and running around. But yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily impacting on people's social skills.
I think it is.
Because teens are always a little bit awkward. I was an awkward teen.
Yeah, but like, it's not even just teens anymore. Like, it's like even little kids have fucking phones and they're like not talking to each other and just like fucking arseholing around.
Yeah, well, the idea like kids wouldn't be interacting. I always think like it's so important to get kids into sports and stuff like that. But we'll move on. We're getting too serious now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like sports don't work either.
Do you not think?
No.
I think even if it was for an hour a day, if they were...
Like, I did sports as a kid and all it led to was just being bullied.
You were bullied for not being good at sports.
Yeah, pretty much. And it wasn't the other kids that started it either. It was the coach.
See, yeah, that's just a really bad coach. Yeah, I guess like if you have a bad
environment. Sports don't always work either.
I just think it's if it's for an hour a day where they're not, where they actually have to communicate with kids their own size, they're developing friendships and they're kind of like they're exercising. It's that's what's key meant. Obviously, there's traps if you have like a shitty coach who's just being an asshole because he doesn't know how to work with kids.
Yeah, we're not all family.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on from gorillas having addiction to the phone. I'd like to see a study though of gorillas given like some kind of screen time.
Yeah, like remember that gorilla? I can't remember what her name is. The one that was friends with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Like she had favorite movies.
Oh, really?
That's how like she first met Robin Williams. Like they were like, this gorilla's favorite movies are Mrs. Doubtfire and Patch Adams. I wonder if she can recognize that this is the guy that's in those movies. And she did. When the first day he walked in, she picked up the Mrs. Doubtfire box and she started pointing at
it. Really, I love Mrs. Doubtfire too. That girl had good taste. So now we're going to move on to something completely different. And we're going to move on to which country has the largest penis.
Perfect segue.
From interesting talk about teens today to who... Okay, forget about that. Back to dick talk.
Here's something the teens spend a lot of time doing.
Thinking about, yeah? Huh? We know how to communicate with you kids. Penises, right? Which country has the biggest one? And I've already prefaced this by saying... Like, Ken, this is not good for Ireland. Ireland come up bad. Come on, bad. So this is done by an online pharmacy forum called Mars.
Pharmacy? Oh, God.
An
Okay.
online pharmacy forum called Mars use Google data of 86 countries to conduct this study. So I'll go through the data and then I'll go through maybe a little bit more after that.
So they done this study online?
Yeah.
How did they figure this out online?
All right. So this. Okay, I might as well cover this now. Before getting, it ruins the data. Okay, so I'll go through the study and then I'll ruin the data for it because like it works better that way. I think.
If the data ruining the data might be better for Irish people.
Well, okay, I'll go through the data first, right? then I'll try to give us a life raft in order to like save ourselves. But until we know which countries come where, we can't say, well, this is why we done so bad in this. Okay, so we first need to know the results. So, which country do you think has the largest penis?
I'm gonna say one of the African ones.
Okay, pick an African country.
I don't fucking know many African countries.
Random
geography.
Random country that comes to your mind. You think of Africa, you say.
We'll go with Nigeria.
Nigeria, no, they were 44th. Which I am surprised with the Nigerians because that's the stereotype right there. It's Ecuador is number one. They apparently have a penis size of 6.93 inches.
Was the study done in Ecuador?
No. Cameroon come in seconds with 6.56. Third is Bolivia with 6.50. And then Sudan is 6.48. I think the largest European country is the Netherlands. They got 6.25. And France come in a respectable 11th.
Is that respectable?
I think, 11, the whole entire world is a respectable size. Now, it's 6.20 inches for French in terms of that. Now, the reason why it's pretty bad, because we always like to beat the feckin' English.
Right.
And we don't. We didn't beat the English on this one. England came in, I think they came in 66th with 5.17 inches in the United Kingdom.
What way are they measuring England? Are they measuring England as just like England, Scotland, and Wales separately, or are they combined? Well, combined the UK, then it includes Northern Ireland.
Yeah, which could necessarily drag their percentage down, Ken, as well as up.
Well, that's a bit skewed.
Yeah, but it could, like, when you compare it then to Ireland.
That's 4 countries.
Yeah, but when you compare it to just Ireland, then you could go, well, if anything, Northern Ireland was dragging them down because the average size, which you imagine it would be similar enough to Northern Ireland, average size for Ireland is just 5 inches.
Yeah, but the problem that you've got, though, is that, like, England could be smaller than Ireland, but the Scottish are dragging them up.
Or the Welsh. Maybe the Welsh have giant dicks. Yeah,
the Welsh.
Yeah, but would you imagine if Ireland are just 5 inches and the average in the United Kingdom is 5.17? There is probably 1 or 2 countries that has pulling up the title, and there's 1 or 2 countries pulling down the total to get a round number of just 5.17. So it's really, like I said, this has gone horribly bad. We're like I think we're one of the lowest like European countries on the map. Switzerland beats us, Norway beats us, Poland beats us, 5.63 for Poland, in case anybody's listening from there. Germans beat us there.
The phone. It's all about the phones.
Well, we're not the only country with phones, Ken.
It's the radiation from the phones.
We're not the only country with phones. Hungary beats us. They probably don't even have phones. Hungary.
You were there recently, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly. This is really just going to make this the next time in Hungary very, very awkward. They are, they have 5.90 inches to our just 5 inches. So it's not gone well for us. Denmark beat us as well. Mexico has 5.87. Honduras beats us. Costa Rica beats us. Everyone beats us, Ken. The only way to help ourselves a little bit, we can just punch down, which is just punching down the list, which is all we can do. Iran, fuck yous, you're 76th. Pakistan, Yemen, yeah, get to grips. Thailand, 80th. Hong Kong, Philippines, Taiwan, and Romania has 0.2 inches smaller penises than us, Ken.
Poor old Romanians.
Yeah. You're tiny dicks. We have the exact same penis size as Mongolia. And
is that good?
And do you know Asians get a bad rap? If Africans get a good rap, Asians get a bad rap, right? The Chinese have 5.17. So the Chinese beats us as well.
Go on, the Chinese.
Yeah. Irish people have smaller penises than the Chinese, according to this study. Now let's try to dig ourselves out of a hole here, okay?
All right, go on.
And we're going to try to give ourselves some saving grace.
Well, the fact that it's an online survey is a bit...
Well, the camera lenses adds or subtract £10 depending. Maybe we don't have as good, nice cameras as the Chinese, and they give them lens. Is what you're saying?
I just want to know how it was, how the data was collected.
Yeah, so it's important to note that the original study relied on self-reported data. They relied on people measuring their penises themselves and submitting the data themselves, and then they got the average from the penises sizes that were submitted. So that's how they got the data. So the only thing we can say is maybe some people in Africa don't know how to use rulers properly, and that's why they're getting skewed measurements, and people rest in Europe, especially the English, are lying cunts, and we're adding a few inches on, and in fact we're just really fucking honest.
It's completely skewed if you're relying on people to fucking measure it themselves.
Yeah,
that's completely fucking.
They don't know how to use rulers, and they're lying cunts. So that's
people probably didn't even measure it. Just said, "I'm going to say 12."
Well, do you know what? People didn't say that. They stuck to what the average was. And then what does that say about Irish people? Maybe our penises they're like, what's the average? 5? Okay, we're 5. And we're actually less. So
what's a good number? That's what happened. It's just a lot of lads in the pub. What's a good number? What's a good number?
There's I think a girl who was on a reality TV show. I think I've seen it I was going to do it as a story. And she said, she would not have sex with a guy if his penis wasn't as large as an iPhone. And I was like, what model? What model?
It's fuck off.
And does it have a screen protector? Because this is important.
So it has to be as large as an iPhone. It's going to be very flat.
Well, it doesn't have to be the same shape as the iPhone. I think she's just looking for it in terms of length. Or maybe she's looking in terms of width. Who knew?
Off.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a story that I wasn't going to talk about. But here we are. Here we're talking about. But yeah, it's just shocking data in terms of our part. And yeah, it is kind of, in terms of our story, not reliable at all.
Yeah, no, not even a little bit reliable.
But it begs the question: what were the actual sizes in terms of people? Where people on this? Did people know how to use rulers? What were they using in terms of the measure it?
They were measuring in. They should have been measuring in centimeters, and they were measuring in inches.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe, and maybe the Irish people are just too honest. But in terms of this, we talk about how important this is. I personally has never measured it. I know people said they have. you're probably not going to admit to it on air. You have or not.
But like, who does and why do you?
I know a load of people who like this came up with a load of various different groups of lad friends, and they thought it was weird that I hadn't, and it was like obvious that everyone has, and they're all talking about their length and like what it was. And it's like, I don't know, I've never actually measured it.
What was the purpose for it? Like, what was the reason behind
curiosity, Ken?
And then what's the purpose behind telling all your friends about it?
I think it just comes up. So, like kind of random stories talking about
I can safely say that has never come up.
with you and your friends. I think there was like a condom thing lying around, a brochure of condoms, and we were going through all the condoms, and that came up then. And in terms of, I think it was the age-old stereotype of Asians having small penises came up, and then we were talking about measuring it. Then it was kind of just like someone left the brochure of Durex lying around. I think that's how it came up. One of them came up, and then
a brochure.
Yeah, like you get a packet, and then inside the packet there's all their different products that they supply.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. It comes with the instructions.
There's instructions.
Be a bit like if there wasn't instructions, it would be a bit like, what's that thing? Bad practice. There's a lot of lads wearing them inside out. Don't know what's going on. It's getting sucked up there. What's happening?
That's probably definitely happened though.
Oh, 100% it happened. Yeah, there's actually a porn producer that's what he said. The first time he had sex, he didn't know how to put on a condom, and he ended up just basically it was him wanking himself rather than him having sex. And that's why they need instructions, Ken. So like for the last half an hour, girls are probably going like, lads talking about their penises. Will they ever get grips? Well, in fact, I was doing this research and I was Googling to find the story that I seen this on Facebook. And what came up before largest penis were world's biggest breast sizes. So that leads me to either determine that Google thinks I'm more interested in which country has the largest boobs, or in fact that women are more obsessed about their tit size than men are in fact about their penis size, which would be hard to believe.
Or it's just men Googling who has the biggest boobs. What country am I going to on holidays? Let's find out.
Well, now women know that Ecuador is their country of choice, and stay clear of Ireland.
We don't want you coming here anyway.
Or you women can feck off anyway. We have the internet.
We have the internet now. We don't care.
We don't need you. So in terms of countries with the largest breast size, it is quite surprising now. So the United States come in top. David C. Cup.
Right, I'm going to say that I'm going to feel that this is skewed because I'm going to guess that obviously America's going to be top because they're all fake.
So I didn't want to spend too much time on this and I was running out. I didn't see if they necessarily discounted people who had breast implants. I don't know if this was necessary as necessary a bragging point of view as the men one was. It was definitely kind of like the men one was more skewed towards which one has the biggest penis, just for bragging rights, and this was more about which country has and why is the case of which country has the biggest breast size. Now, they didn't necessarily, I did skim through it, and it didn't say necessarily if they ruled out or not ruled out breast implants. I'd imagine they should have. If this was just based off some bra company going off which are the most popular bra sizes, then it could skew it. So let's just say that it could be, but hopefully not. Let's err on the side that they've discounted breast sizes. So the United States are in first with C cup. Then United Kingdom are in second. They also have a C cup. Russia fluctuates between a B and C. Colombia is in fourth with B and C as well, and then Canada, Poland, and the Netherlands. Ireland do a lot better than this. Ireland are just behind Hungary with B Cup. They try and draw with Hungary and Australia, as well as Brazil and Albania. They all have B Cups, and so Ireland kind of come joint. They end up in 11th, but like they're all pretty much B Cups. Now, interestingly enough, since it is a study made for girls, so there's more data on why this is. They actually said it might be more obvious for why women have in these countries bigger breasts than other countries. One is genetics, is one of the reasons, but it's also very closely aligned to BMI and people's weight size. And so and if you look down through the BMI average, it all goes down as the countries on the list go down. So the United States has a 29 BMI compared to Britain's 27.1. So if you think that the women in the US actually have a higher BMI, so they're slightly just more overweight given them in terms of breast size compared to the English ones.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be skewed though by, well, I don't know.
So like it could be just their overall weight, because if you're heavier necessarily, you're obviously going to have naturally bigger tits. But then there's also genetics. Let's take away the plastic surgery aspect. So I imagine Brazil, it's like the plastic surgery capital of the world, and Mexico is as well. So imagine they'd be quite high up in the list if that was the case.
Yeah, but are Brazil and Mexico, isn't it like a lot of foreigners that go there to have surgery? Not necessarily people from there having surgery.
Well, there'd still be a wealthy class of people there. But anyway, let's say because it doesn't specifically say or not say about plastic. Let's just say they don't. Anyway, and let's just take this as data. They're not, because it'd be pointless if it was. Anyway. Okay.
How's the data collected?
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time on this. It's only an hour show.
God damn it, Mark.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But it did come to an interesting conclusion that one, we are really pulling down the pool now. This is putting us in worse light, that women in Ireland generally have bigger tits to Irish people's small penises. And two, that women are more interested about their size of breasts than men are necessarily, which I very much doubt.
Yeah, I'd say the reason that came up, Mark, is because you Googled it before.
No. Yeah, but anyway, in terms of data, in terms of penis size, it said it's like size may or may not matter, but generally means that the owner of the penis is more concerned about the size of the penis than necessarily their partner will be. And that's that data set. But it does. We all know it does. Stop lying to yourselves. You have a small penis if you think that. Let's move on to your story about the guy who is responsible for an airport's 9% of the airport's complaints.
Yeah, so this guy, he lives somewhere. It doesn't really say where he lives, and they keep him anonymous, so like it doesn't say what his name is, but he lives somewhere near Dublin Airport. And last year, Dublin Airport received 1,500 noise complaints, right? And they had a total of 5,276 complaints. This year, it's 13,569 complaints. And this guy is responsible for 12,272 of them, which makes up 34 complaints a day.
Fucking sake, that's a lot. Are they all these emails?
It doesn't say how he's complaining, but it just says that like they're all noise complaints. Like he's responsible for 90% of the noise complaints in Dublin Airport.
90% of, like, and what does
like they
they
get.
Are they all just noise complaints, or are they like my flight was delayed?
They're all noise complaints, or complaints about like flight patterns, and like Dublin Airport receives 59 complaints a day, and he makes 34 of them.
But like, I presume he's either bought that house there, or else he is renting there. But like, wouldn't he have known that there's an airport right beside where he lives when he bought this house?
I would imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I would have just blocked him. Blocked the number, and you would have reduced your complaints by 90%. Imagine
Good job, guys.
Dublin Airport has decreased their complaints by 90% this year compared to the same time last year.
Like, that's just, like, I don't understand, like...
or don't change it, just change your email address.
Like, what does he... Oh, yeah, and then, like, just to add it to how much more of a dick this guy is, he complained... So, in 2020, like, he complained 6,227 times.
Yeah.
So, like, in 2021, he complained 12,272 times. But, like, there's less flights.
Do you think it's his like do you think it's just his way of communicating with someone? Like he might live alone, he might be old, and like he might just fucking, that's his only way of interacting with people, is like giving out by stuff.
He's just a dick.
Yeah, there was a place. There's like a place where we used to walk, and there used to be a guy who used to drive around, and if he's seen a dog off the lead, go up to the owner and he like giving out to them about like, keep the dog on the lead. You're not allowed to have your dog on the lead, and like threaten that he'd find them, and like he'd give them leaflets saying like in terms of the rules of like you have to have your dog on the lead. So like people are kind of terrified in case they always look around to see if he was coming around, and there'd be like, even if they seen a dog walking and said, "Oh, your man's around, make sure your dog's on a lead there," he's given out to people already, and they'd warn him if you seen him around. But the place who owned the land said, we didn't actually hire that guy. That guy doesn't work for us. He was just a randomer who would get into his car and drive around this fucking field, giving out to people for not fucking having their dog on the fucking on the leash.
Like, why didn't people just tell him to fuck off?
Because they all thought he worked there. Everyone thought like he was an official person. Well, I guess like in terms of having, like, you're meant to have dogs on leads where there's other dogs. It's like to get into a fight. So it's kind of like you can't argue with it. If someone said put your dog on a lead, it's kind of one of those things that, yeah, well, I'm probably meant to. But like, it's like if you walk around, there'd be no dogs around for like that you can see, so you might want to like let your dog run around, and he'd be like, if you see it, he'd be like straight over to you. He used to be nicer to you if it's first time offender. He apparently would come up to you and go, here, like, look, you're meant to have your dog on the lead here, would you mind put it back on? And then, but if he's seen you and you're constantly doing it, he'd be like kind of giving you a leaflet. You get a leaflet, that's the worst of company. You get a leaflet.
But like, what's he on about? I'll fine you. Well,
I think he just fucking talking smoke through his ass, right?
Go ahead, find me, you fucking dick. Fuck off.
Fuck you, you cunt. Yeah, so like, yeah, there's some people that like it was probably his only way of like interaction with people. You're like your man who drove around. Probably he had nothing else to do. He's mentally ill. He probably thought he was doing like a civil servants as well. They go like, all these assholes shouldn't be flying flights. They could fly anywhere else.
Like, I understand that it's probably really fucking annoying, but like the airport has been there like since fucking God was a child.
Yeah, well, I always thought there was a radius of where like houses weren't allowed to be built for that reason. It's because there would be planes coming in and out of the place, and be like
Dublin Airport's been there for 82 years. So if your house has been built since 1940, you fucking know there's an airport there.
Yeah, but maybe they would come in from a different way, and because of the new terminals, planes are taking off in different directions, so their flight paths have changed in the 82 years now, where you wouldn't really hear them. There's more planes coming in that, and then the volume of planes probably have increased since then as well. Whereas, also,
generally places like this receive, like same with Crow Park, generally people that live in places like this receive money.
I know people who live right beside Crow Park, and I was like, do you get tickets? And they're like, no, we don't live close enough. And it's literally 5 minutes walk away from Crow Park. In terms of that. Now, I also know people who used to live up a festival in Blessenden, and they're about 20 minutes walk away from that festival, and they got free tickets. So I think in terms of Crow Park, you have to be, I think it's a certain area you have to be. Like, if you're at the kind of lower Dorset Street, that kind of, like, you don't get
But, like, it applies to everything. Like, where I work, the people that live around, like, the houses around where the shop is built, they all receive money.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
For what reason?
Noise.
All right. So they probably do get a noise, like, compensation.
Like,
or wouldn't they just get money off flights?
Yeah, I don't know what way it's worked out, but, like, maybe they get something. Like, you get something for noise.
Yeah, or maybe it's because they want to ensure that they do get maximum.
Because there's a guy who lives directly behind the shop that is always complaining, and, like, one day, one of the old managers we had just said to him, like, you got, like, fucking a shitload of money when this place is built, and you get, I don't know what he gets every year. You get something every year, and he's like, just fuck off with your fucking complaints.
So yeah, it does. That's what I thought. Maybe if he complains enough, that he would actually have got something more from it. He goes, if I complain enough, I'll get more. Because, you know, like, if you're an asshole enough of the times, like, you'll get, people are like, oh, just give him this, keep him quiet, because it's just easier to deal with a person, like, just pay him off so he doesn't be a dickhead. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on from that guy, and we'll move on to our idiots of the week. This is part of the show created for idiots by idiots, and it's where we talk about people doing dumb things. And the first people onto our idiots week probably is a surprise, and it's the FBI. Okay. And
dun, dun, dun.
They're on their idiots week because they released an 83-page guide to internet slang for, I guess, old people like us. Now, you're admitted an old person, but you're more old-minded than your age lets on. So you may be 35, but you
34.
have 30, whatever. You have a mindset of a 55-year-old man, and eventually you'll catch up with your mentality, and you'll become a 55-year-old man, and you'll have the right mentality. But right now, you're an old man living in a young man's body.
Like, I'm just more honest with stuff. I just don't care if people don't like what I fucking think about things.
So I'm gonna give you a few abbreviations. I'm gonna see if you know what the abbreviations were. Like, on the list, there were obvious ones, like LOL was one of them. There's ones like BFF. So do you know what BFF stands for?
Yeah, it's a best friend fucking thing.
Yeah, best friends forever.
Yeah.
FAO. Do you know what it stands for?
FAO. It's a toy shop in New York.
FAO is for the attention of. Did you know?
That's not an internet fucking term.
These are the kind of slangs that kids are using today that the FBI are investigating. So, like, that's one that I don't think any teenager would use personally.
You know, I've been thinking about this, like, in a way of, like, okay, like, what do the fucking kids be thinking?
Oh yeah, and
like, FAO. Nobody under the age of 30 uses FAO.
ONO. What do you think it stands for?
ONO.
Yeah, I know.
Not a clue.
Or nearest offer. So this is just like stuff you might see around classic ads. I've bought cars off the internet. I've bought things off the internet. I have never heard that term ONO.
You know, I have.
Oh, you've heard that one?
Yeah.
So then there's really, really bizarre ones where I just think they ran out of ideas, thought it was a great idea, and started making up names themselves and calling them internet slang, hoping they catch on.
Like, I wouldn't say any of them are internet slang that, like, fucking kids would be using.
So there's, well, maybe necessarily they're not for kids, but they're just general internet slang in terms of all age groups are being looked at here.
Right, go on.
All right, so ALOTBSOL.
I don't even fucking know what that is.
Yeah, for the next few, you might have to write them down in order to actually get it. So that one is always look on the bright side of life. That's what the kids are using today to say, always look on the bright side of life. They're saying ALOTBSOL. Lol.
Yeah, and then you just say FO, lol.
So the next one is, this is for a sick burn. So if you want to sick burn someone on the internet slang and you want to use a short and abbreviated word, you go PMYMHMMFSWGAD.
Not a clue. Like, that's just too long.
Pardon me, you must have mistaken me for someone who gives a damn. I personally love that.
Fuck off.
This is great. This is a great resource of the FBI time. A bit of sarcasm for you. It's WYLABOCTGWTR. And that's, you would like a bowl of cream to go with that remark?
Who uses that?
I don't know.
Who the fuck says that?
I don't know where they hear that. What internet are they looking at? The rest of us are using. They have some programmer link and go, oh, must we, let's decipher it ourselves.
They're looking at, like, you know, when you see on Facebook and you see like something written in like a foreign language and you hit translate and it comes up like horribly translated. Yeah. That's what they're looking at.
Well, no, I honestly think they got it. They're like, oh, this is actually a really good game, and just start making up ones themselves. So
they're just like, kids in Russia are saying to each other, would you like a bowl of cream with that? Like, what's that about? Let's put that on the list.
So there's BFP. It's a few smaller
BFP?
ones. Yeah, BFP. So if you heard BFP, what do you think it means?
Boris fuck the pig.
That's probably what it should be. It's big, fat, and positive. Or is it big, fat, positive? BIC, B-I-C. What do you think of it stands for?
A pen.
Believe it, comrade.
Oh, fuck off.
This one is actually the worst one, by the way. And it's so stupid. So EB.
EB?
Yeah. This is an abbreviation for EB.
I don't know.
Eyeball. It has to be, like, that one annoyed me. I was like, okay, the rest of them are just ridiculous. Why? Why EB for eyeball?
Because they're morons, Mark. Because they're morons.
HB annoys me. I feel like stabbing. I wish people didn't. I wish people just ignored my birthday altogether when I see HB. I wish you didn't comment on me, because now I hate you. I actually hate you. I am actually physically disgusted by your presence on my Facebook. Get off my Facebook. You're blocked. You're blocked. I think I did block a person who did that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
In fairness, he wasn't necessarily a friend. He was just a person I went to school with. And I was like, fuck you. I'm finished school. I'm finished with you. You're blocked. So one more ridiculous one. And this is IOKIYOR.
No idea.
It's okay if you're a Republican. That one could be just used up the north. So if you're it's okay, we can be still friends. Unionists and Republicans can still be friends.
Yeah, but they obviously mean it in
the United States way. Yeah,
fucking American. Yeah. You liberal piece of shit.
He's like, it's okay if you're a Trump supporter. We can still be friends.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
So that's the 83-page document of what FBI think us internet people are using in order to abbreviate words. It's fucking ridiculous. Honestly, I just think they just started going, oh, this is actually a good game. Let's abbreviate a lot of weird words ourselves. What about this one, lads? And they go, oh, good one, Mick. Throw in the list. Let's add it to the list. Maybe we'll catch on. And they're just trying to actually get their words trending.
Do you know what? I think we need to come up with one ourselves. We could use FIBI.
What's FIBI?
For idiots, by idiots.
For idiots, by idiots. That is brilliant. That is solid gold right there. FIBI. Spread the word, people. FIBI. We'll get t-shirts saying FIBI.
FIBI.
Federal Idiot Inspectors. We're the FIBI. Freeze, you morons. That's ingenious. So where we are, I think we have 2 more ideas, do we?
I have one.
So what's your idea?
My idea is the Quebec Ministry of Health.
Why is the Quebec Ministry of Health on our ideas a week? We can definitely probably say, there might have been a Canadian. Well, we don't actually know, but maybe he was from Quebec. But we could possibly say it's his first Quebecian idiot at work. Go on.
So they meant to post on Twitter COVID data for the week, but instead they posted a link to a foot fetish porn video, and it remained up for half an hour before anybody realized.
People have come less interested in the COVID figures. If this happened like a year ago, that would have been found out within 5 minutes.
Yeah, and so they posted it to Twitter, and it was supposed to be COVID data, but instead it was a video titled "Femdom Foot Worship."
See, this is what happens when you have people working from home, Canada.
Yeah, and then
they have multiple tabs open.
Wait, that's what I think happened. And then when it was copped, they said, due to a situation beyond our control, a link with inappropriate content was posted on our Twitter account. We are looking for a cause.
Could it be
the cause is the guy sitting at home,
employee who was fired, who still know the fucking Twitter password, instead of posting the updated figures, he basically did a Rickroll kind of thing where people click the link and instead of getting fucking data, they got porn.
And not the kind that they wanted.
A foot fetish, which is the weirdest type of porn.
It's probably weirder, but yeah, it's up there.
Oh yeah, there's definitely weirder, but it's one I don't think. But it's common enough. It's probably the most common, weirdest fetish.
Yeah,
if you get me.
It's the most famous one.
Yeah, it's the most famous one. I don't think people's feet are disgusting.
Yeah, they're rotten. I don't understand.
Talking about fetish, there's a singer in a band called Brass Against the Machine. Now, I should preference this. Actually, do you know what? I don't think I can say the story because I actually don't know whether it's true. It's hearsay or not, and I better not say this in case it's wrong. So forget everything I just said. Unless I throw allegedly in there.
Throw allegedly's in. Go on, you started, you may as well finish it.
So allegedly, she got into trouble. I don't know if this is true or not, because she brought a person up on stage and pissed in her face, and apparently that's a thing.
Oh, I heard about this. This is true.
That is true. Thank fuck. And that's apparently a thing.
Yeah.
So
I think she's actually in court, I think, over it.
How is she I don't know. Like, she didn't make him do it against his will. Yeah,
because public fucking indecency.
Exposure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, apparently people have got, like, a sexual kind of thing for peeing on the streets and all.
Yeah, like
indecent exposure means that you're... Yeah, it's considered a
bit of trouble over it.
Oh, right. Yeah, so, well, that is weird. Apparently, it's that's also very common.
It's something that people do all the time.
All the time. I just worry about the mattress. I was like, your mattress will be destroyed. You wouldn't get the piss out of that. Maybe I'm just getting older.
You're just getting older.
Yeah, it's just like, what about the sheets? Change the fucking sheets.
Will somebody please think of the sheets?
Kids say, just think about the sheets. The poor sheets.
I don't have the money to be buying new sheets every week.
And you can't flip mattresses anymore. They're only one-sided. Back in my day. Well, my mattress is only one-sided. Yeah, you can't flip it.
You got a cheap mattress.
Yeah. I don't know if it's cheap. I think this is a different style. A cheaper style.
Yeah, the cheap one.
The cheap style. That means you can't actually flip it. So, anyway, let's just get... I don't know how we got onto that. So let's go back on this, the story. What were we even talking about?
The Quebec Ministry of Health with their foot fetish.
Yeah, so I just think someone's just trying to bring back the Rickroll, but instead of Rickroll, they bring back porn. Because isn't that what happened in terms of remember the tennis player thing, and a Zoom link got like hijacked by people playing porn.
No,
we talked about it on the podcast. He wasn't vaccinated, and he was.
Oh yeah.
So the whole thing about
it. I have very, very short memory.
Yeah, me too. And because like our other idiot week was the story I didn't research, so maybe we were the idiots for even talking about this. This is basically from the headline. We talked about bad excuses given to police for speeding and other offences.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to really do this story, but I said your man is an idiot week. So he's caught doing 100 miles per hour. I don't know what the speed limit was, so it probably was a lot less than 100 miles an hour. Average motorway speeds are 120 kilometers to I don't know what in the States was, to 100 kilometers, or so it would be, what's 120? 70 miles an hour, is it?
Yeah, like just over 70, I think.
Yeah, it's over 70. So it's between 120 kilometers or 70 miles an hour. So if he's doing 100 kilometers, he's going a good bit over the speed limit. When he was pulled over by the police and asked why he was going excess speeds, he said he was on his way to his girlfriend and love made him do it. So that's why he's in our idiots of the week.
Yeah, I believe him.
Love made him do. But he was getting away from his girlfriend. She was wrecking his head. That would be more believable. She was wrecking my head, officer. I'm getting as far away from that fucking as possible.
But that's right. Like, it's a very short line here. He's straddling between like Legend of the Week and Idiot of the Week.
Yeah. Now, if I actually clicked into the story and he managed to get a sympathetic ear, like I said, I'd imagine if he went to the latter, as I was trying to get away from the girlfriend, she's fucking wrecking my head, he'd have probably more sympathy with Garda. Maybe that Garda or police officer, more than likely, was going through a hard divorce, and when it was like, oh, where are you? That's nice for you. Into the jail. You may have, I think you might have heroin
taking your car as well.
On your person. Yeah, I'm taking your hair and I'm smashing your window. I'm telling you I'm doing this so you know in advance. And he was never seen again. So yeah, like I think like you have to know your audience in terms of that. Like check for wedding rings.
Check for wedding rings. See how sympathetic this guy's going to
be. Test the water. And if he seems a bit bitter, he probably doesn't like his wife. So maybe throw into the fact that you're running away from her. He goes, gotcha. Slow down next time.
I completely understand where you're coming from, son.
Yeah. Yeah, but I know, like, there was talking about, like, speeding things. I think a person was telling me they were going over speeding, and then the police at the time weren't doing speed checks, but seen him going excess speed limit. But he was going by the time they actually caught up with him, I think he had slowed down. They're like, what speed are you in? And he's like, oh, the speed limit. There's no way in hell you are. But, like, until he admits it, they have no proof in it. I think they said we can't actually arrest you for it because we have no proof, but like slow down there.
I got stopped before and they were like, do you want to see the fucking photo thing? And I was like, nah, it sounds like something I definitely did.
Sounds like me.
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't know the speed I was doing, and I just plead ignorance and I got off it. I think it was the fact that I didn't know I was doing the speed limit, and they're like, do you know how fast you're going? I was like, I was doing the speed limit. I was like, I seen you up there, and I looked at my speed, and I was doing 120. And they're like, you went past that truck at 140 kilometers per hour, and I was like, oh really? Shit, sorry. And they're like, where are you off to? And I was like, I'm volunteering at this place, and they're like, all right, well, slow it down there. Like, watch your speed and let me off.
Yeah, it depends on like if you get the traffic core are just gonna fuck you over for everything.
Yeah. Like I would have presumed your one was the traffic core.
And sometimes they're not. They're just bored.
Yeah.
My uncle got stopped. He had no NCT, no tax. I think his insurance was out as well, and he just got stopped at like a checkpoint, and it's like in the middle of fucking nowhere. And the guard was like, "What's the story with all this?" And he was like, "Oh, I just never got around to it." And the guard's like, if there was just one of them, like I could understand you never got around to it, but it's like it's fucking everything. Like there's no, I didn't get around to it. So he's like, "I'm taking your car."
Yeah.
And my uncle went mad. Like he started going mad, and then he was like, "Can you at least give me a lift back to like the nearest town or whatever?" And the guard was like, "No, because you're being a dick, so you can fucking walk."
So that's the thing about if you're a dick, they'll be a dick.
Yeah, he's like, "No, you can just fucking walk now."
All right, I guess we'll leave it there with that twinket of advice for motorists not to be speeding or be dicks to police officers or guards. We won't be back next week because somebody's going off and having a baby.
Yeah.
He's due next week, so we'll be taking a week off. Let Ken push it out, and we'll be back the following week with hopefully good news.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I was going to ask you if it's a boy or a girl, but it is a girl. We know you haven't a girl. Apparently, the name of the baby is top secret, and you won't tell me. I can't tell you. I would tell you. I am not to be trusted. If he had told me, you would know. I would tell you straight away. But
it would be birthday.
Yeah, it would be public knowledge. I'd be all over everything. But he, for probably good reasons, he hasn't told me what the name of the baby is. But we'll find out not next week, but the week after next.
Yeah, well, you'll find out next week.
Yeah, I'll find out next week. I still won't tell them. I'll hold it for the 138th show.
Yeah, I just hope it's a name that you're going to be able to pronounce.
Well, are you going traditionally Irish name or like? Is this?
No, like
you're not. What?
It's a normal enough name.
A normal enough name. That's good. With 2 syllables. Anything more, you're taking the piss.
Actually, yeah, it's just 2 syllables.
Yeah, well, see, 2 syllables is grand. I probably could try to get a normal name with 2 syllables. Come on, people, let's pull ourselves together here.
Let's brainstorm.
Start firing suggestions of what we think Ken's name of his baby is. Shite Talk Podcast Show at gmail.com. At Shite Talk Show and all other social medias.
And if somebody guesses it, you'll get a free Shite Talk T-shirt.
Oh yes, we actually have a Shite Talk Podcast Show T-shirt to send out to you. I think I've one buried away somewhere. You can have it.
It smells like Mark.
Very limited edition. Anyway, we'll be back next week. Not next week, the week after next. Talk to you then.
Good luck.
Good luck. No.